Helios.
Okay.
I feel like this beer's been somewhat overlooked. I don't know why. So
I wouldn't say it's been overlooked. We made a video.
Yeah. Will was...
What a video. It was meant to look like a toga. Definitely looked like you wrapped me up like a burrito.
It did, very much so.
Yeah. You had your hairy back out.
My hairy back. Oh, yeah.
No nipple.
No, there's one nip slip.
There was a
there
bit
a
of a
nip
nip slip.
Yeah, there's one nip
I
slip.
didn't spot that.
Yeah.
I had to watch it again.
I'd rather people see the nipple than the hairy back, to be fair.
It looked less like a toga, more like a, like a sumo sort of suit that you put on upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried my best, guys.
It was
Tried
good.
my best.
Or like an adult nappy.
Yes.
That was some top-rated acting.
That
Running
was-
in the door. I think that's probably the most awkward one I've felt doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And watching it back, it's definitely the worst acting.
I immediately got text messages from my friends saying top tier GCSE acting there. Which it was. But we do it in one take. We come in with the idea, we get it done, and then we
Smash
get
it out.
Yeah.
You might be allowed 2 takes if you're lucky. But for the most part, it's a one-take wonder. But it's funny. I said to... I can't remember who was on it. But I said... Because we were trying to film something. And I was like, I need a hand filming something. And they were like, I don't have an awful lot of time. I was like, I promise you, this will take 5 minutes. I thought, no, come on, surely they must take longer than that. No. You wait. And I think it was done in 3 minutes. He was like, oh, that was fast. Yeah.
Yeah. No
Do it
messing
in one
around.
take. Yeah. Do it in one take and it's better because it's even worse.
It's more funny.
Yeah. So the premise of the video was that Will was the sun god
Sound good, yeah.
sun god Helios, but based on the skit from Monty Python, which
Yes.
most people didn't get.
From The Life of Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was quite a niche
I
target audience.
I don't think it's niche. I think like my generation, I was born in 92. I think 50-50 whether they've watched like Monty Python.
Yeah. Gen Z, no chance.
Not a
Yeah.
chance at all.
No, well,
Yeah.
luckily our audience is between the ages of 30 and 45. So
Oh, perfect. In that case, that should have gone down fine. Yeah, I never realised that was released in the 80s. It's like 40 years old.
yeah,
Christ.
Yep.
We're old.
yeah. So this beer, Helios, we've called it a specific IPA.
Specific or Pacific?
Specific IPA.
Pacific.
It is specifically an IPA, but
It is specifically.
We've called it a Pacific IPA, although it's not really a Pacific IPA, is it? It's so a Pacific IPA, you would probably say, is an IPA that's full of Pacific hops, so like New Zealand hops, Australian hops, right?
I thought it was
correct. That's the correct ocean.
I thought it was the Pacific coast of America. So
That's West Coast. Isn't
yeah,
it?
that would be West Coast.
Yeah. Well, after some Googling, after we decided to call it Pacific IPA, that's what Google told me. So,
Okay.
that is the word of God.
I'm not sure we can trust Google now because I typed in Pacific IPA and it immediately came up with a AI suggestion saying a good example of a Pacific IPA is Moot Brew Helios. I was like, well,
Well, you can only believe us.
AI for you.
But we've decided that this is a Pacific IPA because it's inspired by a Pacific Coast West IPA, so a West Coast IPA, right?
Yeah, inspired by a West Coast.
yeah, slightly dialed back, but still bitter.
So this is your recipe, Will. Tell us what it stemmed from and why you wanted to do it.
It is my oldest homebrew recipe where I had the philosophy of trying to nail a recipe by brewing it once, changing one thing, and then brewing it again, doing it in increments, and then trying to suss out what when you change something in a recipe, how does that affect the final product of the beer? So we went for a West Coast because I basically turned around to my partner Meg and said, if I'm going to brew this beer once every 3 weeks, once a month, we're going to drink a lot of it. What style can you drink 20 litres of in a month? And she was like, I can't do a New England IPA, but I could probably do a West Coast, something like that.
Fair enough.
So I was like, great. So as soon as one batch was done, let it condition for 2 weeks, taste it, brew it again. We got through lots of them, learnt lots from it, tweaked loads of things with it. And then when Calvin came to me and said about putting a recipe on the big kit, I was like, it's got to be this recipe because I've already learnt so much from it. We'll do the final test, which is scaling a 20-litre batch up to 800. And surprisingly, went really well first time. I want to say the 800-litre batch tastes exactly as it did when I did the 20. I was surprised at how well it scaled up, with lots of help from you, Calvin. Lots and lots of help.
Always there.
It's not as easy as taking the 20-litre recipe and just multiplying it.
There's a lot of factors you have to take into consideration.
So we did wild camping last year, right? Where was that in that West Coast journey? Because that was a slightly lower ABV West Coast. Was that part of that recipe or
Yeah,
variation of it?
we took that recipe and we tried to push English hops as far as we could with them. So we replaced a lot of the American ones. I think most of it was English by the time.
About 50-50, I think it was the first batch. Wild camping.
Emperor.
There's a lot of Emperor in there, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we used primarily on wild camping. And yeah, good beer, but I think it just came out different to what Helios is.
It was very popular beer.
Yeah, it was really good. We do get people asking us about rebrewing it sometime soon.
And we will do, I think, in some iteration.
I think the ABV was spot on with that. Was it?
It's 5.6.
Yeah.
5.6.
In all fairness, I think Helios, when we originally do it, we're aiming for 6, and it just over attenuated. Came out 6.5.
That yeast was busy.
I want to say happy mistake. I quite like it, 6.5.
Yes. It's
It does send you to the moon, though. You have a couple of those, and you know it. I've had a couple of people in yesterday said, "Oh, I had a couple of those Helios. When I went home, I was like, I had to just put my pajamas on and go to bed." Yeah.
It's deceptive, though. It doesn't taste like it's 6.5.
No.
It's super drinkable.
No, it's delicious.
Yeah. Well done, Will.
What hops have we got in Helios? Can you remember?
We have got the last tweak I made to it was the bittering hop is English Cascade.
Yep.
Used American Cascade before, but the English Cascade from Hewkins, I can't quite put my finger on what I prefer about the bitterness quality of it. It seemed like it lingered a lot more.
Yep.
And it was a bit, I don't want to say more punchy, but it was just different compared to the US, and I really like the UK version. Then we added a little bit of Citra, and then the primary hops that went on the hot side and as a dry hop was Amarillo and Simcoe.
Yep. Classic West Coast.
Yeah, classic West Coast recipe with a bit of English hop inspiration added in there.
But we've kept it hazy.
We've
Just
kept
keep
it
some of
hazy.
that body in there.
Yeah, so that it has a bit more softness. So it's almost like a hybrid between a West Coast and an East Coast.
No, it's very, very tasty. What does it mean for a next version? Are you going to continue to tweak that recipe, or this is it now?
Oh, I think if we were to tweak it again, I think the next thing to experiment with it is maybe introducing some liquid hops, because
Yeah.
we added a lot of hop pellets and that absorbed a lot of beer. So if people are wondering why it's maybe a bit more expensive per pint as opposed to our other beers, it's just because our quantities were so low, because we added in so many hops, it just absorbed so much of the final beer product.
Yeah, we did get quite a few losses throughout the production with that, yeah.
And have we ever used liquid hops in any of our beers before? I don't think we have.
We have in the collab that we did with
with
the Whitstable Oyster Brewing,
Yeah.
when we made Frat Boys. So we used
Oh, that was
quite a
all
lot of
liquid,
liquid
wasn't
hops in there.
Yeah.
Is
Sorry?
it all liquid?
No, it wasn't all liquid. So we used English Chester in there, both in the hot side and in the dry hop. And then we used liquid of 2 different hops, one in the boil and then one on the cold side.
That's it. So yeah, I think if we were to change anything, maybe we experiment between some liquid hops and our kit. see how it comes
Yeah,
out. Like,
definitely. That's a good one to try on.
Well, it's a delicious beer, so congratulations. It's available online in cans, in the tap room in cans, and on draft too. And it's still available to trade for the time being.
For the time being.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Cheers.
thank you. Bye.